Hello all. Thank you for your patience. We were having some technical difficulties, so we're just waiting for Charlotte and a couple of others to join and we'll begin. Hi, Elena.
Hey, let me change my name.
About technical difficulties, so.
And Charlotte just said that she was having difficulty, so I need to try to resend that to her as well.
Okay. For some reason, it duplicated it.
Okay, let me send that to her. Okay. Okay, I've sent it to her.
Perfect. While we're waiting, if y'all wouldn't mind dropping in the chat your name, where you're from, what district you're from, and what your role is. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. She's from Leaf ISD.
Hello, I'm from Leaf ISD.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
And Mr. Garcia, looks like he's a recruiter from Lamar ISD.
Correct. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. I'm trying to figure it out. Doing it here on my phone. But yes, I'm a recruiter with Lamar CISD.
Awesome.
Welcome. We're excited that y'all are joining us tonight.
We apologize for the technology issues.
And Becky from Region 4, Inspire, Texas, welcome. Elena, do you want me to go ahead and share my screen and begin?
I think so. I think so.
Charlotte, do you have any introductions that you want to make before we start?
No, I just want to welcome everybody to our joint collaborative here with our wonderful Texas National Board Certified Teacher cohort in Region 4. We have myself on the line and also Becky working with Inspire Texas. So I'm excited for everyone to be here and to share about National Board Certified Teachers.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. If for some reason anyone gets kicked off, just go ahead and jump back in and we'll admit you back in. Can everybody see the screen okay? All right, so we're here tonight to just give you an overview of why teachers should pursue National Board Certification. And we are the Texas Coalition, or Texas National Board Coalition for Teaching. We are newly launched in Texas. We're about 4 or 5 months old, so we're brand new, but we're excited because this work is moving really fast and there's lots of growth in our state. I'm Leslie Anaya. I am a National Board Certified Teacher. I just certified in 2019 as an Exceptional Needs Specialist, and I currently teach high school English in the West Texas area. My email's listed, so feel free to reach out anytime. And then you can also follow us on Twitter at TxNBCT and or myself at ESC15TOY.
Thank you, Leslie. My name is Elena Stanislaw, and I certified originally in 2009 in the area of early and middle childhood literacy, reading, language arts. And I did that when I was living in South Dakota. And since then, I've moved to Texas in 2015. And I had the opportunity to recertify while living and working here in Texas. And I currently serve as a reading intervention specialist for 5th and 6th grade students in Conroe ISD. And my email is presented there, as well as my Twitter. And I'm just really excited to be here. I'm so glad that Texas is starting to have this conversation, because this is exciting. This is good for kids, and this is good for teachers and for districts. So we're so happy to be here.
So a lot of people are asking, what is Texas NBCT? And basically, we are a coalition. We're an inclusive coalition of NBCTs across the state who are trying to advance the profession of teaching and student achievement in Texas. Our mission is to engage and support high quality teaching and learning through professional growth and leadership. Our goals are very specific. We are an inclusive coalition. We are inclusive of candidates, administrators, and basically anyone who is passionate about teaching and learning and wants to support accomplished teaching throughout the state. So all stakeholders statewide. Our goals are to ensure all Texas students have equitable access to accomplished teachers. We are working on building awareness of the National Board Certification process, and we're assisting candidates in the National Board Certification and Renewal process. And we're doing that in a couple of different ways. So connecting and growing our coalition and National Board Certified Teachers and retired NBCTs throughout the state. And then we also network to engage and support high quality teaching and learning. So our network, our coalition, is the official statewide affiliate of National Board for Professional Teaching. And we work very closely with the board of directors and staff at National Board as well. Some of the things that we're gonna go ahead and go over tonight. Elena, do you wanna give them an overview?
Sure, we're going to go ahead and follow this outline. So we're going to tell you all about National Board Certification. We're going to talk about what the process looks like, how any teacher can get started, and what candidate support is available in our state. So when we hear the title National Board Professional Teaching Standards, some of you might be asking, like, what is that? I haven't heard of that. And so what that is that it's an independent nonprofit organization, and the whole goal is to advance accomplished teaching, because we really believe that all students deserve to have accomplished teachers in the classroom in front of them, working with them. It's been established as a professional vehicle for defining what is considered recognized and accomplished teaching. And it's been around for about 30 years, and it's one path to recognize that accomplished teaching. So when we take a look at board certification, looking at Texas in comparison to the US, here's some interesting statistics that we definitely need to talk about. In the US, we've got 122,000 teachers that have already achieved board certification. So typically when you look at the whole US, it's about 3% of the teaching population that has reached that status. But in Texas, we're only looking at 996, which is 0.3%. So Texas is by far lagging behind the national average. And that's one of the reasons why we really want to encourage and to be out there and support our teachers with national board certification. 20,000 teachers are pursuing national board certification nationwide, and in Texas, about 205 of them are seeking that certification. 645 schools have more than 5 teachers pursuing national board certification in a collaborative manner, and more than 50% of nationally board certified teachers teach in the high needs schools, which is fabulous because we want our most distinguished, accomplished teachers working with our highest needs. So this is a great way to jumpstart that and get those teachers working with the kids who really need that additional support.
Absolutely. And when I look at the 0.3%, oh no, that is not okay. Everything has to be bigger in Texas, and we really need to work on getting our NBCT numbers up for sure.
Definitely.
So the national board process hinges on the 5 core propositions. It was first published in 1989, and then it was updated again in 2016, what teachers should know and be able to do. It articulates the national board's 5 core propositions for teaching. So the 5 core propositions, it's comparable to the Hippocratic Oath of medical practitioners, right? It sets forth the profession's vision for accomplished teaching. Together, the propositions form the basis of all national board standards and the foundation for national board certification. So the 5 core propositions are, the first prop is teachers are committed to students and their learning. The second, teachers know the subjects they teach and how to teach those subjects to students. The third is teachers are responsible for managing and monitoring student learning. And then the fourth, teachers think systematically about their practice and learn from experience. And the 5th proposition is teachers are members of learning communities. Now, every specific certification area have different standards, but every single one of the standards are centered on our 5 core propositions. So for Prop 1, teachers are committed to students and their learning. Accomplished teachers are dedicated to making knowledge accessible to all students. They act on the behalf, or excuse me, on the belief that all students can learn, and they treat students equitably, recognizing the individual differences that distinguish one student from another and taking account of these differences in their practice. One thing to note is National Board for Professional Teaching and all of the 5 core propositions and all of the standards were created by teachers for teachers. In Proposition 2, teachers know the subjects they teach and how to teach those subjects to students. Accomplished teachers have a rich understanding of the subjects they teach and appreciate how knowledge in their subject is created, organized, and linked to other disciplines and applied to real-world settings. In Proposition 3, teachers are responsible for managing and monitoring student learning. Accomplished teachers create, enrich, and maintain alter instructional settings to capture and sustain the interest of their students and to make the most effective use of time. They also are adept at engaging students and adults to assist their teaching and enlisting their colleagues' knowledge and expertise to complement their own. Prop 4, teachers think systematically about their practice and learn from experience. Accomplished teachers are models of educated persons, exemplifying the virtues they seek to inspire in students: curiosity, tolerance, honesty, fairness, respect for diversity, and appreciation of cultural differences, and the capacities that are prerequisites for intellectual growth: the ability to reason and take multiple perspectives, to be creative and take risks, and adopt an experimental and problem-solving orientation. And then Proposition 5, teachers are members of learning communities. Accomplished teachers contribute to the effectiveness of the school by working collaboratively with other professionals on instructional policy, curriculum development, and staff development. They can evaluate school progress and the allocation of school resources in light of their understanding of state and educational objectives. One of the really amazing things about Prop 5 is that it continues beyond national board certification. So when you become an NBCT, you become a member of an absolutely amazing learning community. And our learning as national board certified teachers doesn't just stop after certification. We continue to keep growing and learning, not only in our knowledge of our students and our knowledge of instructional best practices, but also learning in our leadership skills. So we, National Board Certified teachers have lots of opportunities to serve in different leadership capacities.
So right now you're probably thinking about, well, what do we need to do to get our teachers started? So they all have to have a bachelor's degree. They need to have 3 years of teaching or counseling experience, and they need to have a valid state or school counseling license. And you're also probably wondering who would be good candidates to pursue national board certification. Really, any educator who falls within any of these different bulleted points. Of course, they have to meet all of the eligibility requirements that we just talked about in the previous slide. If you have a teacher who has met those requirements and they want to strengthen their practice reflectively, if they want to improve student achievement, if they want to grow in their teaching practice as a whole, if they want to collaborate and have camaraderie around best teaching practices and how it impacts students and the students' learning, if they want to grow their capacity and leadership skills. And it also opens many doors to work with education in other ways, like working directly with National Board of Professional Teaching Standards, with TEA, with us, with TxNBCT, with different ESCs like we're doing tonight, and in different leadership capacities within your school districts.
So this brings us to a great opportunity, Elena, to share our why for National Board Certification. When I learned about National Board Certification, it was through social media because no one anywhere in my area knew anything about it. They had never heard of it. And when I became a teacher, it was because my husband at the time had gotten cancer and I had to support the family. And I was like, well, if I'm going to support the family, I want to become a teacher. And of course, I don't know how to do anything halfway. I want to be the best that I can be. And when I found out about how rigorous National Board certification process was, I thought, well, I'm an okay teacher. You know, I can go through this process. I want to get my National Board certification. But going through the process itself was the best professional development and the best investment in myself and my students that I could make ever as a teacher. The process itself and the journey of going through the National Board certification has completely transformed my teaching. I mean, my craft is completely different now than it was before I started the journey.
I would 100% agree with that. I started going through the process when I was living and working in South Dakota a long time ago. And we started it because there were a couple of other people in the district who had jumped on board a year or two before us, and they were starting not really a cohort, but they were just starting to talk about it, and there were some people who had done it. And my district was able to offer some professional time off to do the writing. And our state was offering a stipend. And then if the state offered the stipend, your district had to also offer the stipend. So it was one way to earn a little bit of extra money. And it allowed me to really take a look at my practice reflectively and to think about why I was doing what I was doing, what are my next steps, really looking at my kids. The greatest piece about National Board Certification is the fact that it's all about you as an educator and your teaching and how to refine and reflect and develop and hone your teaching so that you are a better teacher for your students and you see a higher rate of student achievement, and you're better for your colleagues, you're better for your school, you're better for your community, you're better for your district. And so that was a piece that really attracted me to it. So a friend and I got started right away, and we did the entire process in one school year. And honestly, very luckily, both of us certified that very first year. And ever since then, I've been able to mentor people all over the country through this national board process. And it's been a wonderful additional leadership role in getting to see people who really care about education and who really care about their students take on this amazing journey, and they're better for it.
Quick side note, Elena happened to be one of my mentors and readers, because I live in an area, again, that has no national board certified teachers anywhere near me in about 150 school districts. So I went through that process essentially by myself. And the second cycle, when I redid 2 components, she read for me. So I'm really grateful to Elena for that.
It was my pleasure, for sure. So you might also be wondering about the different certificate areas. The wonderful thing is there's 25 different certificate areas. They cover different student age ranges as well. So for any teacher that you have, there is an area that is exactly for them, that fits their passion, that they will be able to jump on and go from there. In my area, mine actually goes through all the way up through age 12. So age 3, all the way up through age 12. So that's that early and middle childhood range. And Leslie, what does yours cover?
I'm an exceptional needs specialist, and mine is early childhood all the way through adulthood. So it
Awesome.
was a pretty wide range.
Lots of knowledge needed. So why would teachers choose to do national board certification? Number one, because it improves your teaching practice. It allows you to hone your practice, to demonstrate professional knowledge, and to reinforce your dedication to teaching, to students, to your colleagues. It's an amazing, amazing journey. And schools with national board certified teachers are characterized by having higher and better teacher morale, higher rates of teacher retention, and increased community involvement.
So the component 1 of certification in each certificate are all a computer-based assessment, which is basically like your content knowledge assessment that you take when you're a teacher, but it's a little bit more in depth. And then the other 3 components, component 2, 3, and 4, are all portfolio entries. Component 2 covers differentiation and instruction. Component 3 covers teaching practice and learning environments. And then component 4 covers effective reflective practitioner. And component 4 has also a lot to do with assessment as well. So getting started, a teacher or counselor would go to the National Board for Professional Teaching website, www.nbpts.org, and confirm that they meet the eligibility prerequisites. And then they go ahead and pay the registration fee of $75. And then after that, they have time to go ahead and select the different components that they'd like to complete. So each of the fees for each component, they're all collectively due by February 28th. And it is $475 per component fee. And then even before a candidate registers, they can still download the 5 core propositions, start doing a deep dive into those, and then they can also start reviewing standards in that certificate even before they pay the registration fee or their component fees. Important dates and deadlines. Just for your information, there are some adjustments that National Board has made to the timelines because of COVID, and they've been really good about working with teachers who are going through the process and teachers who are registering to navigate our world of education and COVID right now. So they've made some really amazing adjustments for that. I see that Elizabeth asked a question, what timeline do most candidates complete this process? You mentioned 1 year, but I heard it takes much more time. Elena, do you want to?
I can sure talk on that, yes. So they could choose to do all portions in 1 year, and if you pass, you're done. If you would not certify because you needed to redo a couple of components, then you could go ahead and work on those, like one the next year, totally up to you. But you need to have submitted all portions within the first 3 years. And then if you still need some additional time after the first 3 years, then you could continue for another 2 years working on those portions that you still need to improve to certify. Leslie, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I think it's a really great explanation. I do know that for myself, when I went through the process, I don't really call it a smart decision, but it was a decision that I made. I registered for all 4 components while I was working on my master's and my principal certification. So I submitted all 4 components in 1 year. And needless to say, I needed to redo 2 components, which actually turned out being even more beneficial for me. We tell candidates, don't say I failed or I passed. You say I've certified or I'm not certified yet. And retaking those components provided me so much more growth as a teacher. So I don't regret that. I laugh at the decision I made. So here's the important dates and deadlines. Registration windows from June 2nd through February 28th. So if you have teachers who are interested and want to register now, they most certainly can do so online. And then the component selections and the payment are due by February 28th as well. The e-portfolio submission window is normally between April 1st through mid-May. And then right now, there's some October submissions because some teachers or candidates chose to go ahead and defer because of our current situation in the schools with COVID. And then component 1, you usually test between March 1st and June 15th. And then score release is usually between the first part of December through the end of December. But National Board is really good about sending email updates to let you know, okay, in a couple of weeks, expect another email saying when scores are going to be released. So they're good about that. And then fees and support, many states have their own system for providing fee support. Usually outside of Texas, you would visit your local network website because there's 60 networks in 36 states. And then some local districts use federal title monies like Title II for professional development and funds to provide fee support to candidates seeking certification. The best thing to do for teachers is to go ahead and reach out to their principal or central office to see if that's a possibility within their district. Charlotte, did you want to share out your information now, or did you want to wait a little bit?
I'll share a little bit about it. I do have a slide that goes over it, but TEA on September 3rd released a TAA letter, and they discussed their plan for reimbursement for National Board certification fees. So it doesn't cover the registration fee, but the districts can apply for, they can reimburse their candidates, and then TEA will provide them with the funds to reimburse the district. So it's very exciting for those people that maybe, you know, the cost is what's holding them back. Like they really want to pursue it, but so that's exciting that that opportunity is coming from the state. I feel like they're seeing a need for increasing those National Board certified numbers.
Yes, absolutely. And the really surprising and another exciting aspect of that is NBCT doesn't even necessarily have to work for you to help them out, to give them that reimbursement. So that's a good way to recruit some of us NBCTs who are willing to move. Okay. And then funding at a glance. So the teacher incentive allotments through House Bill 3 have a specific formula that they use based on certain district demographics and numbers, and teachers will be either designated as recognized, exemplary, or masters. And currently, whether or not a district is in a current cohort, so say your district isn't joining the TIA cohort until D. Well, anyone who is a National Board Certified Teacher in your district starting in January, the district will still receive funding for those NBCTs, and they'll be designated as recognized automatically. So that's really exciting too. So types of candidate support, you're definitely not alone. One way is to visit a local website. So in bigger districts, they usually have face-to-face national board candidate cohorts. Some of the models are a little bit different. Some people use hybrid models. Some people use virtual supports. Currently, that is what our network has been working on, a menu of supports. We do have virtual cohorts going on currently, and in our era of COVID, a lot of people are choosing to do that. We had a professional learning facilitator training that was hosted by the National Board Resource Center from Stanford University in conjunction with National Board, and they trained a lot of PLFs from all the regions in Texas. So we were really excited. There was at least one representative from every region there. And then again, there's lots of districts who provide in-district support, and there's different teacher centers and universities who also provide cohorts. In my situation, where I was alone and wasn't near anyone, actually, when I found out about it, I joined some Facebook groups who were really amazing and helped support candidates who didn't have supports during that time. And they are facilitated by National Board Assessors as well as candidate support providers. So they're really amazing as well. At this point, we just want to kind of open up the floor for questions. Feel free to either unmute yourself or drop your questions in the chat, and we'll do the best we can to help answer them.
So I have a question actually, Leslie. If someone was interested in, getting the supports from your group, would they just need to contact you or Elena, or how would they need to reach out?
Yes, absolutely. You can contact either one of us, or you can reach out to our network by email at the number 5 core, CORE, at TxNB.org. And we'd be happy to share that information. And then we also have a website, which is TxNB.org. And we have webinars that we provide every month. We've got mixers to help candidates connect with other NBCTs so that they can kind of get their feet wet and see what the community is about. We've got links to resources with TIA. We have links to National Board website itself. So there's lots of information on our website as well. And currently we are drafting up the full menu of supports. So if a district or a superintendent or principal is wanting specifics about cost and how to use Title II funds to go ahead and support their candidates, we'll have that information soon as well. Thank you, Elena, for dropping that in the chat.
You're welcome.
And we are also a TEA approved service provider, technical service provider for National Board certification as well. Does anybody else have any questions that we can answer for you tonight? Yes, ma'am. We will definitely email you we can email you a copy of the PowerPoint, and then we can also share the recording with you. Mr. Ruiz, do you have any questions?
No, I'm sure more questions will come later as we are able to speak to our candidates about this, and as we become more knowledgeable about it. As director of the Alternative Certification Program in Region 4, I wanted to just be able to be here and listen more about this, and perhaps instill or begin to cultivate this exciting new way of becoming a nationally certified teacher on our about to be certified teachers in the state of Texas. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your explanation. I'm just very excited to be able to learn more about national certification.
Yes, sir. And you said you're the director of the Alternative Certification Program?
In Region 4, correct.
In Region 4. So I myself went through an alternative certification program, and one of the exciting things about National Board is they actually have pre-candidacy work. So I don't know if you're connected to any of the universities or colleges in the area, but several colleges I know are working on their pre-candidacy. So from teacher prep all the way through National Board certification. So in the future, once you kind of get your feet wet in the content and the certification, maybe we can circle around and connect and talk about maybe connecting you with some of those entities.
That'll be very exciting, Leslie. And in addition to that, it also is going to depend on what I guess the different school districts are going to be addressing House Bill 3, and if that is a possibility, we'll definitely be able to allow for pre-candidacy or provide that information to our candidates in training as more and more districts may be interested in moving into national board certification. Absolutely.
I see Cleveland ISD, but I don't see a name, so I'm not sure how to address you. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm Nathan.
Hi, Nathan.
So where in South Dakota were you at?
I'm originally from Rapid City, South Dakota, right near Mount Rushmore. Are you familiar with the area?
Yeah, I used to work at USD and SDSU and that whole area.
Okay. I'm from West River, not East River.
But now you're both in Texas, so you came to the right place, right?
Exactly.
Elena, have I missed any questions that you can see?
Yes. Elizabeth would like to know if there's a contact person who they can reach out to with questions, because their district is looking at creating a training and looking at the process of becoming nationally board certified. So do you want to drop the 5 core email in there, and then we can get them to the right person
Sure.
when they reach out?
And Charlotte, did you want to share your screen, or did you already address the topics that you wanted to talk about?
No, I still have some things to talk about to go over with TIA. It says I can't share those. So
Okay, I'm going to make you host.
okay, perfect.
You're
All
the
right.
host now.
Perfect, thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit just about how National Board Certification connects to TIA. We know with House Bill 3, things have been recently rolled out with the teacher incentive allotment. So I'm going to talk about that connection between TIA and the National Board Certification. So first off, why our teacher incentive allotment? So the purpose of the teacher incentive allotment is to recruit, retain, and designate those highly effective teachers at our high needs and or rural campuses. I know both Leslie and Elena shared that when they went through the process of National Board Certification, it really strengthened their craft as teachers. We have heard that over and over again from teachers across the state, saying that as they've gone through the process, that they have really, some of them even said, I wasn't the best teacher when I started out, but after I went through National Board Certification, I can really see the improvement. So that's awesome that we want to have those highly effective teachers in those high need schools. Districts will receive additional funding, anywhere from $3,000 to $32,000 a year for every National Board Certification certified designated teacher that they employ. At least 90% of those funds must be, and I should say must, not us, must be used on teacher compensation on the campus where that designated teacher is assigned. The goal of the teacher incentive allotment is to have teachers, qualifying teachers, reach that six-figure salary. We want to reward those teachers who are prioritizing teaching in high needs areas and those rural district campuses. We know so often those campuses struggle with recruitment, those rural campuses and those high needs campuses. So the goal is to incentivize working on those campuses to recruit highly effective teachers. So Leslie shared this screen a little earlier with the recognized designation as a National Board certified teacher. Those teachers automatically receive that recognized designation. They would receive a base of $3,000. And then looking at the tiers, depending on the needs of the campus and the rural designation of the campus, you could achieve up to that $9,000 for that area. Now, that doesn't mean that it's capped off at, because if the campus engages in other Texas incentive allotment, their local designation systems and such, they could also achieve higher levels. But it's nice to be National Board certified and just automatically get to that recognized designation. So highlighting here again, more need, more funding. So if a campus is rural and it's based on socioeconomic, those higher needs campuses will receive more funding. If you are unsure of what your funding allotments would be, on the TIA website, they do have a map. This is our Region 4 map here, where you can visit that map and you will be able to determine for your district what your funding amounts would be. Again, it is based on the rural designation and also the number of socioeconomic students on that campus. So you can look it up by campus and determine what each campus's allotments would be. So beginning in January of 2021, eligible nationally board certified teachers will earn that recognized designation on their Texas Educator Certificate for the 2021 school year. To be eligible, the teacher must have a 1-year or standard Texas teaching certificate and must be employed as a Texas teacher. So that's that PEMS code 087. So that is how that teacher will be able to receive those TIA funds, those incentive allotment funds, if they are a national board certified teacher. Again, that the recognized designation, as we saw on the chart on the previous, the slide before last, can generate anywhere from $3,000 to $9,000 for the nationally board certified teachers district. So it is dependent upon the socioeconomic status of the students on that campus and also the campus's rural status. So districts with nationally board certified teachers that meet the criteria are not required to have a local designation system to receive TIA funding. So this is what's so exciting about the national board certified teachers and TIA is that the district doesn't have to have an additional local designation system in place. As we're looking at some of those systems, many people have put it off to cohort D or cohort E because getting those systems and collecting the data is quite a huge task. But because as a national board certified teacher, those teachers can be eligible starting in 2021. And so that's really exciting that it's almost like a basically automatic in to TIA. So the National Board Certification Teacher Directory listing must be updated to ensure that that teacher can receive their designation and that incentive allotment. The district will have to submit the class roster winter snapshot to verify the teacher's campus placement. This is also what will be used to determine the socioeconomic status of those students. Districts may request reimbursement of the fees that are paid to the National Board for Professional Teacher Standards for eligible NBCTs earning certification in 2019 or later. So as I mentioned, there was that TAA that came out September 3rd, and there is a chance for fee reimbursement to those teachers who are getting their National Board certification. And the exciting part is it even has options for those who are renewing their National Board certification. So if you have somebody who's already National Board certified, could be an incentive to bring them in for that renewal of fees. So just to give you a visual here of the two pathways to earn designations. Again, this is for our teacher incentive allotment. So with your National Board certification, your individual teachers achieve that certification, and the district may choose to support cohorts of National Board candidates. It's not required, but it is highly encouraged and a great recruitment and retention strategy. As I mentioned before, it says fairly automatic between beginning 2020 and 21. And so as a National Board certified teacher, that recognized designation goes on to that teacher certification, and it is attached to the teacher certification, whether the district has a local designation system in place or not. So your local optional teacher designation systems, this does require an application and approval process. These are those district created systems. That system is approved and the district determines and issues the teacher designation. So this is where those student learning objectives come in place, the portfolios come in place, the observations. And so the National Board certification is less of a heavy lift on the district, but you're still getting the benefit of having those highly effective teachers in place and getting that teacher incentive allotment. So if you are a district that doesn't have a local designation system and you want to support your National Board certified teachers, or if you want to see, do I have any of these National Board certified teachers in my district? So the first thing would be to determine if you have any of those National Board certified teachers in your district. And make sure, double check that that designation will appear on their SBEC certificate. So that should happen automatically if their listing is updated. But just, as a follow up with that, it's always best practice. So then you would want to determine also if you have any undesignated National Board certified teachers by searching that directory. And making sure that they have their valid Texas teaching certificate and are active on the National Board certificate so that they are able to get the recognized designation in April 2021. So again, that follow up with your National Board certified teachers. And ensure that your teachers who provide regular instruction to students are properly coded with the accurate CDCN and that 087 roll ID in PEIMS in both October and the class roster winter submission. So, as our HR people, our PEIMS coordinators, making sure that everyone is coded correctly with that accurate CDCN because it's based on our socioeconomic status of those campuses, and also that 087 PEIMS roll ID. So as a district without a local designation, you will need to still develop a local spending plan for allotment funds. Again, 90% or more of the allotment funding must be spent on teacher compensation on the campus where the designated teacher works. 10% of allotment funding may be spent by the district to help support the teacher incentive allotment or teachers who are trying to earn designation. So that teacher incentive allotment comes to the district, but 90% of it must be allotted to teacher compensation for the campus that the designated teacher works on. There are some questions to consider when determining how you will distribute your allotment of funds. So thinking in terms of what percentage will go to the designated teacher, what percentage will be retained by the district. Will that percentage differ from campus to campus, or are you going to be consistent throughout the district? When will teachers be compensated? How will teachers be compensated? So as examples, a salary increase or a stipend. And will the compensation be TRS eligible? So those are things that at the district central office, you would need to consider when determining how to distribute your allotment funds. So for those districts that are in the process of developing a local designation system, so say your district doesn't have one yet, but you have a national board certified teacher, but you're looking to maybe join cohort D or cohort E of TIA with another designation system. Make sure to determine that your spending plans and requirements, if those will differ from your teacher designated outside of the district's local designation system, but also keeping in mind that your national board certified teachers may want to take part in that local designation system to increase their level from recognized to exemplary and then to masters, because we know that I can tell those national board certified teachers always want to be out there improving. So don't cut them out just because they're outside. So offering them the chance to participate in those local designation systems. So earlier I talked about how TEA has discussed reimbursement for those national board certified teacher fees. More information will be coming on in fall of 2020, which I don't know about y'all, but it feels like fall today. I'm loving it. It was amazing walking outside and it's not 1,000,000 degrees. So in order to participate or take part in this reimbursement, the national board certified teacher must have an active national board certificate. So it can't have lapsed or any of those things. If the fees were paid by the national board certified teacher, the district must first reimburse the teacher before submitting a request for reimbursement. And so the district would have to reimburse the teacher directly, and then TEA would reimburse the district. TEA will verify that the district reimbursement request with financial records from MBPTS. And here's our pay structure. So districts may request up to $1,900 for financial certification. And so I do believe that that covers all of the fees if my mental math is working for me today. So that's the 475 times 4. So I think that's 1,900. My math teacher mother would be proud that I did that mental math. So that you can request up to $1,900 for the initial certification, $1,250 for that renewal. So even those national board certified teachers who've already received their certification but need to renew can benefit from this program. And $495 for maintenance of certification. So there are different levels and different fees that can be covered. The registration fee, that $75, is not eligible for reimbursement, but the big chunk of fees is going to be eligible for reimbursement. So again, if you have someone who is being held back due to the financial costs, there is help is on the way in fall of 2020. Districts must submit completed requests for reimbursements by March 31st, 2021 at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. As soon as we find more information about this, we will share that out with our contact list. Here's a timeline that TEA also shared in that to the administrator address. So for the designation year 2021, which is this school year, the district will be notified of the allotment based on the teacher location for their class roster winter submission in February. That will take place in April of 2021. The deadline to spend those allotment funds for the 2021 designation year would be August 31st of 2021. And then the designation year 21-22 in September 2021, you would need to settle up your designation year in first payment of the 21-22 designation year. And amounts are based on the 2021 class roster winter submission in February. So again, those allotment, that class roster for the winter submission is going to be very important to the amount of funds received through TIA. So TEA has also shared with us a flyer that tells us more about how National Board Certified Teachers in Texas can benefit from the teacher incentive allotment, and also how those districts who support the National Board Certified Teacher, you as a district, how you can support those who want to pursue this certification, and also help those who maybe already are in your district internationally board certified to benefit even more through the incentive allotment. And I will share that when we send out the recording of the webinar. I will attach that flyer with it as well, so you can see that all of that information there. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to open it up for questions.
Charlotte, that was an amazing PowerPoint. You did a really good job of summing it up very succinctly. Thank you. That's probably the best presentation we've seen on TIA.
Oh, thank you. I am also going to put the link in the chat to that funding map where you can look up your campus and determine what your funding amounts would be through Texas incentive, teacher incentive allotment. And so if you wanted to review that map, you can have that information there as well. That's all that I have. Dr. Ruiz or Ms. Hampton, do y'all have anything that you'd like to share on the ed prep side that we maybe didn't cover, or anything that you want to share just related to ed TPA?
Yep, Charlotte, thank you for sharing that PowerPoint, and thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing the information about National Board. We're going to be following up with some information. As Charlotte said, there's more information coming out in the fall. So we are going to plan to publish more information on our human resources listserv, and also to share more information in the Human Resources Leadership Network meeting that we have planned in October. So we're really looking to do some information sessions and extend information out to the candidates and candidate facing. So we want to make sure that we're sharing as much as we know in October, so that we can meet all the deadlines that Charlotte just described. So, National Board is such a great springboard into TIA, and it's good for teachers and good for kids. So we want to make sure we're sharing broadly with our school communities and helping everybody navigate kind of a new system, as we shared with 0.3% in Texas. I know we have room for growth, and I know we can do it. So we are at a great place to keep increasing and keep learning.
Can't say it any better than that. Thank you, Charlotte. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I know that people were asking about the recording. I know that we'll get that recording out. I want to thank Leslie and Elena for putting together such a great presentation and sharing with us about National Board Certified Teaching. I'm excited to learn more about it. like I've told both of you, you know, you see it on your job application as like, are you nationally board certified? And it's like, no, what's that? So I'm excited that we're learning more about it. We're sharing it with our district and campus leaders in Region 4 as well.
Well, I'm really grateful that Elena connected with you, Charlotte, and just brought everybody together because, like Rebecca said, we're all in it essentially for the kids and to grow as teachers so that we can help our students. So appreciate all of you. Thank you for your time being here tonight. I know everybody has a lot on their plate, and so the fact that you're here is just a testament to your commitment to your kids and your teachers, and we appreciate you very much. Everybody have a good night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.